en el aeropuerto de Pearson, a las afueras de Toronto, en Canadá.
It put Canada in the international spotlight. The brazen theft of 400 kilos of gold from Toronto's Pearson Airport, and the supersized news conference a year later when police said they'd finally cracked the case.
We have arrested 9 people, issued 3 Canada-wide arrest warrants.
Project 24 Carat traced how a band of small-timers allegedly spirited away tens of millions of dollars in gold using a plain white truck. Gold bars supposedly melted down by a jewelry store owner using a welding torch and a few simple tools, then turned into cash, used to purchase 65 handguns.
This is about how gold becomes guns.
Stolen gold, melted by hand, sold to finance gun running. Police joking the caper worthy of a Netflix series, albeit one with plot holes you could drive a truck through.
This is the place where all that stolen gold disappeared from view. A country road about 30 minutes west of Pearson Airport. Police went to 225 homes and businesses looking for security footage, hoping to trace the path of a white truck, much like this one, only to lose sight of it here. Where the stolen cargo went from this point is a mystery. Just one of many unanswered questions about the heist, despite the arrests and celebratory press conference. Basic questions, like what's the true value of the gold? Or the real extent of the link between gold and guns? Not to mention, what actually happened to all those shiny bars? Which has us wondering, have police really cracked this case?
First things first, size does matter. In Hollywood heist films, gold bars are always big and heavy.
Fort Knox. Ha! It's for tourists.
Police recently revealed that there were 6,600 of them.
Each gold bar is 99.9% pure.
So, a total shipment of about 400,000 grams in the form of 6,600 gold bars. Simple math then tells us that most of them were actually tiny. How small? About the size of a matchbox rather than a brick, like this replica. Easier to conceal or smuggle. Police say the bars were melted down, presumably to obliterate their serial numbers. But even when they're this small, it's still an awfully big job.
Gold melts at 1063 Celsius, so it's a pretty high melting temperature metal.
It turns out that melting precious metals is hard work, and it takes years of experience to do well. Andrea Venkabach is a goldsmith who teaches jewelry design at Georgian College in Barrie, Ontario.
You're always hot because the torch is always on. The light is very bright. Obviously, you need special glasses. Here we wear canister masks because of the fumes. The torch handle is heavy, so that's constantly in your hand. So there's a lot of heat. It gets uncomfortable.
Venkabach says most jewelers just aren't set up to melt large amounts of gold.
That quantity that you're talking about, that would take days and days to do.
Does it sound to you like this would have been a one-person operation?
No. I mean, unless that person was doing it day and night, didn't sleep at all.
And there's something else that doesn't add up. The value of the stolen gold. Police keep pegging it at just over 20 million Canadian. But based on April 2023 market prices, 400 kilos of gold was actually worth more than 34 million. And that value is still rising. Today, it's over $40 million.
Then there's the gold for guns narrative. Pennsylvania court docs catalog all the weapons seized by US police. We looked up the price for each gun. Most cost around $500 US. In total, all those firearms could be legally purchased for under 50,000 Canadian. A tiny fraction of what the stolen gold is worth.
400 kilos of gold is a lot of gold. That is an awful lot of guns. Unless you are arming a militia, that's kind of overkill.
David Sood is an expert on how criminal organizations use gold to finance their activities and hide their profits. He says the link between the stolen gold and gun running sounds dubious.
If you want to discreetly bring a large number of guns from the United States into Canada, there are better ways to do it than by staging a spectacular airport gold heist that's going to have multiple law enforcement agencies hunting for you very aggressively.
And then there's the $34 million question. What happened to all that gold?
All of our officers are dealing with gun crimes, violent
Peel police have
crimes.
recently said they believe the gold is no longer in Canada. So where in the world could it be?
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd say India.
Alan Martin studies the flow of illegal gold. He's convinced that the missing cargo is now overseas.
When I did research there a few years ago, almost between 25 and 30% of the market was illicit, or they didn't know where the material came from. The thing with India is you could literally hide a truckload of gold in India and nobody would notice.
Indian consumers love gold, buying almost 750 tons last year alone.
The cultural affinity we have towards gold makes gold a very, very attractive commodity for smuggling.
Najib Shah used to be in charge of India's anti-smuggling efforts, a tall, if not impossible, order.
And India's coastal borders are extremely challenging, which means it comes into the land and it can get transported to the marketplaces almost instantaneously.
Marketplaces like this, Zaveri Bazaar in Mumbai. Some call it the world's gold capital. 20,000 goldsmiths packed into a square kilometer. Every day, an estimated 500,000 people come here to buy or sell gold. And few questions are asked.
Police don't get involved. They are not allowed to get into the shop. Customer comes and buy the gold. Customer comes and sell the gold. Police won't know it.
A no-tax, high-profit gamble, one that this shop owner avoids.
There are few jewelers out there who buy smuggled gold only.
If the $34 million in stolen gold ended up in this warren of shops, the trail is now cold, meaning someone, somewhere, made out like a bandit. And Toronto's great gold heist remains far from solved.
Jonathon, there is so much more to this story. I'm so curious. What are police saying about everything you figured out?
Well, not much. I mean, we asked Peel Police for an interview. They declined our request. And they also declined to answer the written questions that we sent them. They were citing their ongoing investigation and the criminal trials that will eventually get underway. But, you know, they don't want to answer even basic questions like, what were the size of these gold bars or the true value of the shipment? So we also reached out to Valcambi, the Swiss refiner who made the gold, as well as Brinks, the security company that was shipping it to Canada, and TD, the bank that purchased it. And again, nobody had any real information to share with us. So yet another mystery why even the victims are reluctant to talk.
Okay, well, thank you for continuing to push for transparency. I know you're not going to let go. Jonathon Gatehouse.
Thank you.